Enchantment, section A, you're going to rest for 8 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then you're going to do 16 more bars, but where this gets tricky is the piano is going to slow on bar 15 and 16, but the metronome does not. So as long as you just keep your same cadence for that first 24 bar group, it'll put you on track for the intro that happens at 50 seconds. So let's assume I've counted 14 times. Here's number 15, 16, and then the intro at 50 seconds. So number 15 would still go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But it's going to be tricky to get the timing because the piano is going to slow down. There is a synthesizer or keyboard or something that has this sort of an up, like, and that also is another indicator to be on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But if you just count consistently from the beginning, you'll land on time. Section B. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. A little bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Section C, notice I'm probably going to move my left foot onto the double pedal at the beginning of this section to be able to do the fill that comes later. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, a little bit louder this time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1. Section D, I'll probably move my left foot back to the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Section E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Let me break that down a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1. Where this is likely tricky is how you finish out the last part. You could probably justify playing it 2 ways. The first way would be how it's written. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. The second way you could probably justify playing it is moving the bell on the 4 back to the and of 3, and that would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Nobody's going to notice the difference. And from what I can tell when he plays live, he puts it on the 4. So I would stick with this version. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Section G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. And on the fill, the first time on the and a 3, it just goes and a 3. The second time it does a diddle on the and. So it's going to go and a 3. So the difference is, instead of going, you're going to hear this little speed up. Okay? So make sure you differentiate those two parts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1. Okay, one more time, a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1. Section I at 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Putting my left foot on the double kick. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1. Now, I don't know if I count it that way when I play it. I think I just go da 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 da. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. And a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1. Now remember, at 206, you're going to do the first 2 bars, then the fill, then the first 2 bars again, but then you're moving on to the next section. So both sections only one time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section J. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that part's a little tricky because it does not match the fill that you've been doing, and it adds this 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and. So let me show you this one more time, nice and slow, all the way across. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So a little bit quicker. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Section K. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 1. Section L. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and the 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let me just remind you about that fill one more time in case it's still tricky for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section M. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. Section N, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section O, remember there's going to be a difference in the 3 and 4 on the first half versus the diddle and 3 and 4 on the second half, which has the diddle. So at 2 minutes and 55 seconds, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1. And again, it's almost going to sound like there's a speed up. On the first time, it's... And on the second time, it's... Diddle-da-da-da. Section P at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Section Q at 3 minutes and 20 seconds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and. Let me walk you through that one again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. One more time, a little bit quicker. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and. Section R, I like to think of this as the beginning of the back half of the song. I like to think of the first half of the song as the first 4 pages of tablature, and then this starts off the second half. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Section S. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. Let me show you one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 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 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I like to add just a little pause after that 3 before you do the diddle on the kick, because I think it just gives it a better swing. So I think it's still technically going to happen on the and, but I like that feeling of it coming just slightly later. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3. Versus playing it strictly as 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. Maybe that's all in my head. Maybe I'm not waiting any longer, but I like that little build-up. Section U, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now remember, you'll do the first 2 bars again, but you'll drop to a different fill after. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you're not repeating the same fill that you just did. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me show you that fill again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the fill is and a 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Section W. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Section X. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Show you that fill one more time in case you still haven't gotten it to this point yet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section Y. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Section Z. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section AA. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Section BB. This one is going to be a little bit of a tricky fill, so we'll take it nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3E and 4E and 1. All right, let's check it out again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3E and 4E and 1. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3E and 4E and 1. gotta be honest, when you're transitioning through the second to the third bar, I probably don't do the kick on the and 4, and I probably don't do the kick on the 1. I probably just go 1 and 3 and 4, or I'm sorry, I probably just go 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. And really, nobody's gonna know the difference. So kick there or don't. I think in the video I probably missed it, but technically if you're playing it like he does in the album, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 3, 4 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. 507, section double C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section double D. This one's got a tricky fill. We'll go nice and slow on this one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and that's probably not how it's even written, because I think I do an extra kick on the 4 and I don't think on the album he does. Again, it's close enough that no one will know the difference, but the cadence is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. What you'll notice in this fill is there's this theme of 1, 2, 3 throughout the song. So notice the interval that the accent is on. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and, which is that again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. So let's look at the whole thing again from 5:15. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. Of course, I'll do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. Now I think in the video I rushed this fill really bad, which is why I said it was my challenge. But again, it's just the 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Before I knew how to play the drums, that's how I used to count things if I recognized a part in a song. And then I realized they just assign 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, but I used to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. There's no reason you couldn't do that. If you're playing the fill and you find it's too hard in the flow of the song, count it in whatever way works, but that's the spacing and the cadence. 1 and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. Section double E. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and a 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. I think I put an extra snare on the 1. Don't sweat it. Section double F. This has a really tricky fill that's so simple but sounds so complex. The reason is because he switches to a triplet grid for the fill at 536, but the rest of the song has not followed the grid. But in the composition, he's hinted at the theme of 1, 2, 3 and hasn't implemented it in too many spots. You saw the fill a couple bars ago. Now you're going to see it here with 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E, 3 E and 4. So if we look at the fill, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. You'll see that triplet grid at 536. Let me break this down a couple times because this was tricky for me. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. I wish I knew cool stick tricks, but I don't. So you like how I just go like that? 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. I think it's very likely in the song he had some sort of a diddle somewhere, and I got to be honest, in the video take, I'm pretty sure that I messed up the 4th bar, and I played it like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4, and got way too busy on the kick. I really don't think I was counting while I played it because I kept thinking, this is the tricky fill, this is a tricky fill. And I should have just counted, then I would have had it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Right? And then even at album speed, 1, 2, 3, I would have gotten it. Instead, I think I played a much more rushed version that probably came across something like this. And again, it's not enough to notice the difference, but if you want to play it technically how he does on the album, then it's 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Double G. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 1. Double H. I probably played it different on the recording than he does on the album. This is what he plays on the album. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let me show you that again. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. One more time. This is how he does it on the album. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 Now, it's very likely when I recorded it that I changed that, and I'm going to guess, because I'm recording the video at a different time than I put the lessons in the software, I'm going to assume that I played it like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Probably a very subtle change. If you're looking at 5 minutes and 52 seconds, the third and the fourth bar, nothing changed in the fourth bar. In the third bar, I probably went 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Either way, nobody's going to know the difference. The idea is the call and response with the snare and the toms. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and just that's backed up with support on the toms. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. But the general idea is 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? So again, the way it is written in front of you is likely like this. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Which, if I take it nice and slow, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. One more time. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1.